Look, I need to be brutally honest with you right now, and my heart is literally racing as I'm about to record this, because what I'm going to reveal here are things that we women only talk about when we're completely alone, when there's not a single man around to hear us. These are the secrets we whisper to our girlfriends after a few glasses of wine, the confessions that make all of us laugh nervously and nod in agreement, but that we would rather die than admit to a man's face. And here's the thing that might shock you. I decided to break the female code today. I'm going to tell you 7 things that every single woman secretly desires, but will absolutely never ever say out loud. Why am I doing this? Because there's a game being played, and most men don't even realize they're losing. So stay with me until the very end, because what you're about to discover here could completely transform the way women see you, the way they respond to you, and honestly, your entire dating life. And go ahead and smash that like button right now, because this video is going to challenge everything you think you know about women, and I need to know how many men are actually ready for this raw, unfiltered truth. Before we dive in, I need you to answer something for me in the comments, and be honest. Have you ever had a woman tell you she wants one thing, but her actions showed she wanted something completely opposite? Type yes or no down below right now, because I want to see how many of you have experienced this mind game. And listen, if you're new here, I'm a real woman sharing the psychology behind female attraction, without the sugarcoating, without the political correctness, just the truth that nobody else has the guts to tell you. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because you're not going to want to miss what's coming next. Now come with me, because I'm about to start with the hardest confession of all, the one that even I feel embarrassed admitting, but it's so real that I can't keep it hidden anymore. You know that super nice guy who's always available, always predictable, always responds immediately, always agrees with everything you say? I'm going to be brutally honest with you right now. He bores us to death. And I know how that sounds. I know it seems unfair, because society tells you that being reliable and consistent is what women want, right? But here's the dirty little secret that I've seen play out in my own life and in countless conversations with my girlfriends. We are addicted to unpredictability. There was this guy I dated a few years ago, super handsome, had a great job, treated me like a princess, and I should have been head over heels for him. But every single time he texted, I knew exactly what he was going to say. I knew exactly when he was going to call. I knew exactly how he was going to react to everything, and it killed the attraction. Meanwhile, there was this other guy who was completely unpredictable. Sometimes he'd text me right away. Sometimes he'd take hours. Sometimes he'd surprise me with spontaneous plans. Sometimes he'd cancel last minute because something more important came up. And even though he was objectively less of a catch on paper, I was obsessed with him. Why? Because my brain couldn't figure him out. Because he kept me guessing. Because every interaction felt like a new discovery. The female brain is wired to seek novelty and challenge. And when you become too predictable, you essentially become invisible to us. We stop thinking about you between interactions because we already know exactly what's going to happen next. So here's what I need you to understand. Being unpredictable doesn't mean being unreliable or flaky. It means having a life that's so full and interesting that we can't predict your every move. It means sometimes being warm and close, and other times being focused on your own mission. It means keeping layers of mystery that we want to keep discovering. And trust me, when you master this, you become the guy she can't stop thinking about. Now pause the video for just a second and comment below. Are you the predictable guy or the unpredictable guy? Be honest with yourself and type predictable or unpredictable, because I'm curious to see where most of you fall. And if you're getting value from this, go ahead and hit that like button, because it helps more men discover these truths. But here's where it gets even deeper, and this is something that might make you uncomfortable, but I promised you the raw truth, so here it goes. We want you to take sexual control, and I don't mean in a creepy or aggressive way. I mean we want to feel that you know what you want, and you're not afraid to go after it. Let me tell you a personal story that I've never shared publicly before. I was seeing this guy who was so respectful, so careful, always asking permission for every single little thing. Can I hold your hand? Can I kiss you? Is this okay? Are you comfortable? And while I appreciated the respect, there was zero sexual tension because he made me feel like I had to orchestrate everything. Compare that to another guy who would pull me close confidently, look into my eyes with clear intention, touch my lower back while walking, create that electric tension without saying a word, and I was melting. Here's the psychological truth that most women won't admit. We fantasize about being desired so intensely that you can't help yourself. We want to feel like you're leading the dance, not asking us how to do every step. This taps into something primal in female psychology, something that has nothing to do with equality or feminism in everyday life, but everything to do with raw sexual attraction. When you hesitate, when you're always seeking permission, when you make us take the lead, we subconsciously interpret that as lack of confidence, as weakness, as you not really wanting us that badly. But when you read our signals, when you escalate with confidence, when you show through your actions that you find us irresistible, that's when the attraction goes through the roof. And before you misunderstand me, this is not about ignoring consent or being disrespectful. It's about being attuned to our signals and acting on them with masculine confidence instead of timid uncertainty. The man who can balance respect with sexual assertiveness is the one who drives us absolutely crazy. Drop a comment right now if you've ever been too hesitant with a woman and felt the attraction die because of it. Type guilty if this has happened to you, because I know a lot of you have experienced this. And now we're getting into territory that's going to sound completely contradictory to everything you've been taught, but stay with me, because this is where the magic happens. We want you to have a little bit of that bad boy edge, that slightly dangerous, rebellious energy that makes our logical brain say, this is a bad idea, while our emotional brain says, I can't resist him. I remember my friends and I analyzing why we kept going back to guys who were clearly wrong for us. Guys who had that cocky smirk, that I don't really care what anyone thinks attitude, that playful arrogance that should have been a red flag but instead was like a magnet. And we finally admitted to each other what we couldn't admit to anyone else. It's hot. There's something about a man who breaks the rules a little bit, who challenges social norms, who has that mischievous look in his eye, who teases us and isn't afraid to disagree with us, who has rough edges instead of being perfectly polished. Now here's the key distinction that most men miss. We don't actually want a real bad boy who's going to hurt us, cheat on us, or ruin our lives. What we want is a good man with bad boy energy. A man who could be dangerous but chooses to be good. A man who has power but uses it responsibly. It's the idea of controlled chaos. The sense that you're capable of breaking hearts but you choose not to. The feeling that you have options but you're choosing us. So stop being so agreeable all the time. Stop apologizing for having opinions. Stop being afraid to tease us or challenge us or create a little friction. Women are not attracted to doormats. We're attracted to men who have a spine, who stand their ground, who make us work a little bit to win your approval. And when you combine that bad boy edge with genuine depth and character, you become absolutely irresistible. Real quick, before we continue, comment bad boy if you think you have this energy, or nice guy if you know you're too agreeable. I want to see the ratio here because it's going to be interesting. Now here comes the confession that's probably going to hurt the most, and I genuinely feel bad saying this, but it's the truth, and you deserve to know it. We lose attraction when you're always available, when you drop everything for us, when your entire world revolves around us. I know that sounds horrible. I know it contradicts all the romantic movies and love songs, but let me explain the psychology behind it. About 2 years ago, I was dating someone who was absolutely crazy about me. He would text me constantly. He would cancel his plans if I wanted to see him. He would rearrange his entire schedule around me. And at first it felt amazing to be adored like that. But then something shifted. I started to think, if he has nothing better to do than wait for me, if his whole life can be dropped at a moment's notice, does he actually have value? And I know how cruel that sounds, but it's the honest truth of how female psychology works. We value what's scarce. We desire what we can't completely have. We chase what moves away from us. When you're always there, always available, always putting us first, you remove all the tension and challenge from the dynamic. We need to feel like we're winning you over, like we're special because you chose to make time for us despite your busy life, like we're competing for your attention against your mission, your passions, your purpose. The most attractive thing you can do is have a life that's so fulfilling and important to you that we become an addition to it, not the center of it. This doesn't mean being cold or distant or playing games. It means genuinely having goals, hobbies, friendships, and ambitions that matter to you. It means sometimes saying, I can't tonight, I have plans, and sticking to it. It means not always being the first to text or call. And here's the paradox. The less available you are, the more we want you, the more we think about you, the more we value the time we do get with you. So please, stop making us your entire world, because it's suffocating, and it kills attraction faster than almost anything else. Comment below right now. Do you make yourself too available to women you like? Type too available or balanced and be brutally honest with yourself. And if this is resonating with you, smash that subscribe button because we're just getting started. Here's something that's going to sound even more manipulative, but I'm pulling back the curtain completely. We want you to challenge us emotionally, to create those ups and downs, to not always be smooth sailing, because emotional turbulence is what creates addiction. Let me share something I'm almost ashamed to admit. I've had relationships with men who were stable, consistent, always positive, never any drama, and I got bored out of my mind. Then I've had situations with men who would be intensely passionate one day and then distant the next, who would agree with me sometimes and completely challenge me other times, who would create these emotional peaks and valleys, and I was completely hooked. Why? Because the female brain releases dopamine during the tension and oxytocin during the reconciliation, creating this addictive cycle that keeps us coming back for more. Now, I want to be clear about something. I'm not talking about toxic relationships or emotional abuse. I'm talking about healthy friction, about not being afraid to disagree with us, about standing your ground when you believe something different, about not always being the one to apologize first, about creating playful conflict that gets resolved. Most men are so terrified of conflict that they just agree with everything we say, and while that might seem like the path of least resistance, it's actually the path to the friend zone. We need to feel something when we're with you, and feeling challenged, feeling like we have to win you over, feeling like we're in a dance where sometimes you lead and sometimes we lead. That's what creates the spark. When you're too agreeable, too conflict avoidant, too eager to keep the peace at all costs, we lose respect for you, because we sense that you're more afraid of losing us than you are committed to being authentic. So start having opinions, start pushing back when you disagree, start creating that emotional friction that keeps things interesting. Quick question for engagement. Do you avoid conflict with women because you're afraid of losing them? Comment guilty or not guilty below. And now we're entering really uncomfortable territory, the kind of truth that might make you angry at first. But hear me out, because understanding this will change everything. We are more attracted to you when other women want you, when you have options, when you're pre-selected by female attention. This is called social proof, and it's one of the most powerful psychological triggers in female attraction. I'll never forget being at a party and seeing a guy I thought was just okay, nothing special, but then I noticed that multiple attractive women were flirting with him, laughing at his jokes, competing for his attention, and suddenly I found myself interested. Suddenly he seemed more attractive. Suddenly I wanted to be the one he chose. It's the same reason why women are more likely to be interested in men who are in relationships or who just got out of one. There's something about knowing that another woman validated you that makes us see you differently. And this isn't about manipulation or making us jealous on purpose. It's about understanding that we're attracted to men who have high social value, who are desired by others, who have options but choose us anyway. So maintain your female friendships. Be friendly and charming with women in social settings. Don't hide the fact that you have an active social life, and never act like we're your only option, even if we are. The worst thing you can do is put all your eggs in one basket and make us feel like you're pursuing us because you have no other choices, because that immediately lowers your perceived value in our eyes. We want to feel like we won a competition, like we got the prize that everyone else wanted, like you could be with other women but you're choosing to invest your time in us. Be honest in the comments. Do you have female friends and an active social life, or are you isolated? Type social or isolated because this matters more than you think. And now we've arrived at the deepest, most important truth of all, the one that ties everything else together. We want you to not need us, to be complete without us, to have a mission and purpose that's bigger than any relationship. This is the ultimate paradox of female attraction, and it's the one thing that separates men who are constantly chased from men who are constantly chasing. Let me get vulnerable with you for a second. I've had men who were so emotionally dependent on me, who looked to me to fill their emptiness, to give their life meaning, to validate their existence, and it was exhausting and completely unattractive. It felt like I was carrying the weight of their happiness on my shoulders, like I couldn't just be a woman enjoying a man. I had to be their therapist, their purpose, their everything. Compare that to men who had a clear mission in life, who were building something, who were passionate about their work, or their art, or their goals, who made me feel like I was a beautiful addition to their life, but not the foundation of it. And those are the men I couldn't stop thinking about. Here's what you need to understand. Women don't want to be your mission. We want to support your mission. We don't want to be the reason you get up in the morning. We want to be inspired by what drives you. When you have a purpose that's bigger than us, it shows strength. It shows that you're not going to become clingy or needy. It shows that you have value that exists independent of female validation. And paradoxically, when we feel like you don't need us, that's when we want you the most. Because now being chosen by you actually means something. So if you take nothing else from this video, take this. Build yourself first. Create a life you're proud of. Chase goals that matter to you. Become a man of value and purpose. And then let women be the cherry on top of your already delicious life, not the entire dessert. Final question before we wrap up. Do you have a mission or purpose that's bigger than dating and relationships? Comment yes or no. And if yes, tell me what it is because I'd love to know. So there you have it. 7 raw, unfiltered truths about what women secretly desire but will never tell you directly. And look, I know some of this might have been hard to hear. I know it contradicts a lot of what society teaches you about how to treat women, but I gave you the real psychology behind female attraction, not the fairy tale version. Now the question is, what are you going to do with this information? Because knowing these things doesn't mean anything if you don't actually apply them to your life. Start being more unpredictable. Start taking confident sexual leadership. Start developing that bad boy edge while maintaining your character. Start valuing your time and not being so available. Start creating emotional friction instead of avoiding all conflict. Start building social proof and having options. And most importantly, start building a life of purpose that makes you attractive with or without a woman in it. If you got value from this video, do me a favor and absolutely crush that like button, share this with a friend who needs to hear it, and subscribe to this channel because I'm going to keep breaking the female code and giving you the truth that no one else will. Drop a comment below telling me which of these 7 secrets shocked you the most, or if you have your own experiences that confirm or challenge what I shared here. And remember, you're not a victim of female psychology. You're now aware of how it works, which means you can use this knowledge to become the kind of man that women naturally gravitate toward. So go out there, apply these principles, become that high-value man, and watch how dramatically your results with women change. I believe in you. Now, go make it happen.